I died choking on my own blood, the metallic tang flooding my mouth as the cold concrete of that alley pressed against my back. Betrayed by the one person I'd trusted with my soul, my best friend, my partner in crime, the woman who'd sworn we'd conquer New York together. And now, as my eyes snapped open to the sterile hum of my old alarm clock in my cramped Brooklyn apartment, 3 years before that fatal night, I knew this was my second chance. Adeline Harper didn't stay dead, not when vengeance burned hotter than the bullet that ended her first life. The mirror across from my bed showed the same 28-year-old face I'd woken to 1,000 mornings ago, freckles dusting my nose, green eyes wide with the shock of survival, hair a tangled mess from sleep. But inside, I was a ghost forged in fire. My hands trembled as I touched the glass, half expecting it to shatter like the illusions I'd built my life on. Elena Vasquez, my ride or die since our Juilliard days, hadn't just stolen my spotlight in that cutthroat theater world. She'd orchestrated my downfall, framing me for embezzlement to climb the ladder at Apex Productions, the indie studio we'd co-founded. I'd taken the fall, lost everything, and ended up bleeding out in that alley after a warning from her hired thugs. Now, I'd rewrite the script, and this time, the villain gets her curtain call early. I stumbled to the kitchenette, the familiar scent of stale coffee grounds hitting me like a slap. It was June 2022, the summer heat already seeping through the fire escape. My phone buzzed on the counter, text from Elena, bubbly as ever. Hey babe, brunch at that new spot in Soho? Big news on the Apex pitch. Big news. I knew it now. That was the day she'd start siphoning funds, planting the seeds of my destruction. My thumb hovered over the reply, rage coiling in my gut like a spring. Delete. Block. No, play the part. Sounds perfect. Can't wait to hear it. Send. The high road, they say, is paved with good intentions. But mine? It was lined with landmines. Brunch was at a trendy cafe called the Velvet Bean, all exposed brick and overpriced avocado toast, the kind of place where aspiring directors like us pretended we were already stars. Elena arrived 15 minutes late, as always, her dark curls bouncing, designer sunglasses perched on her head like a crown. She was stunning, the kind of Latina firecracker who turned heads and broke hearts, mine included, apparently. We hugged, and I forced a laugh as she gushed about our latest script, Shadows of Ambition, a gritty drama about two friends clawing their way up in Hollywood. Irony tasted bitter on my tongue. So, the pitch, she said, leaning in with that conspiratorial whisper, her brown eyes sparkling. I met with Victor Hale last night. You know, the money guy from Silicon Valley? He's in. $500,000 to get us rolling. But we gotta tweak the budget. Make it look sustainable. I nodded, sipping my mimosa, the bubbles fizzing like the lies I remembered. Victor Hale. The secret she'd buried. He wasn't just an investor. He was her lover, the one who'd bankrolled her escape plan when she decided I was dead weight. In my first life, I'd trusted her tweaks, signed off on falsified docs, and watched as the IRS raided our office 6 months later. Sustainable how? I asked, voice steady, though my pulse thundered. She waved a manicured hand. Just some creative accounting. Nothing major. Trust me, Addie, this is our ticket. Trust me. The words echoed like a gunshot. I smiled, the mask slipping into place. Lead the way, partner. Back at the office, a loft in Dumbo with views of the East River that we'd scraped together to afford, Elena dove into the numbers. I watched from across the desk, pretending to review contracts while my mind raced. The betrayal wasn't just financial, it was personal. We'd shared everything. Late-night rewrites fueled by cheap wine, dreams of Oscars, even a drunken kiss once that blurred the lines of friendship. But Elena? She'd always craved the solo spotlight. In those final moments in the alley, as her goons, hired through Victor's shady connections, closed in, I'd realized the depth of it. She'd leaked my confession to the tabloids, painted me as the greedy thief, all to secure her narrative. And Victor? He'd whispered in her ear, promising marriage and a penthouse if she cut me loose. I needed proof. Not just memories, hard evidence. That night, as Elena headed out for drinks with a contact, I hacked her laptop. Password, Apex Queens, 2022. Child's Play. Buried in a subfolder labeled Old Scripts were the emails, timestamps from weeks ago, her sweet-talking Victor about streamlining the partnership. One attachment, a forged ledger shifting funds to an offshore account in her name. My name, too, smeared across it like graffiti. Heart pounding, I copied it all to a thumb drive, then deleted my digital footprints. Step 1. Arm myself. But revenge isn't a solo act. I needed allies, and in New York, that meant leverage. First call, Jamie Ruiz, our cinematographer, a quiet Puerto Rican guy with a moral compass sharper than his lenses. In my first life, he'd stuck by me during the trial, whispering doubts about Elena until the threat silenced him. Jamie, it's Addie. Coffee tomorrow? Got something that could blow Apex wide open. His hesitation crackled through the line, but curiosity won. Yeah, spill. Over lattes in a hole in the wall near his Queen's walk-up, I laid it out. Not the rebirth, that was my cross to bear, but the suspicions. Showed him the drive. His face hardened, jaw ticking. She's been weird lately, yeah? Dodging meetings, name-dropping Victor like he's God. If this is real. He trailed off, eyes flicking to the street. We gotta be careful, Addie. These Valley types play dirty. Dirty. Understatement. By week 2, I'd woven a web. Anonymous tips to a freelance journalist, Mia Chun, who'd covered art scandals for the Village Voice. Source close to Apex says financial irregularities. Check the Hale connection. Mia bit, her emails probing but professional. Meanwhile, I mirrored Elena's charm offensive, schmoozing investors, pitching shadows as a solo vision, mine. Controversial? Hell yes. I started sidelining her in meetings, accidentally CCing her on dummy emails that made her look sloppy. Whispers spread. Is Elena slipping? She noticed, of course. Addie, what's with the cold shoulder? We're in this together. Together, I echoed, forcing a grin during a late-night edit session. The office smelled of takeout Thai and desperation. Always. But as she laughed, oblivious, I slipped a tracker into her purse. Old habits from my theater days, props and misdirection. The app on my phone pinged later. Drinks at the Standard, not with a contact, but Victor. Grainy photos from a hired PI confirmed it. Hands intertwined, lips brushing in the elevator. The secret she'd buried, not just an affair, but a pregnancy. Victor's heir, announced in my first timeline right after my suicide in jail. She'd played the grieving widow-to-be, parlaying sympathy into a Netflix deal. Rage blurred my vision, but I channeled it. High road. Screw that. I chose the shadows. Next move, plant doubt in Victor's circle. A fake email from Elena's account, hacked via her predictable patterns, warning him of Apex risks and hinting at my instability. Addie's cracking. We need to cut ties. Sent to his board. By Friday, his assistant called our office, voice clipped. Mr. Hale requests a full audit. Elena's face drained of color during the call. What the hell, Addie? Did you? Me? I feigned shock, heart racing with dark thrill. This is bad. We fix it together. But inside, the tension coiled tighter. Controversial decisions loomed. Expose the baby? Blackmail Victor? No, too messy. Instead, I escalated. Met Jamie in a dive bar off Broadway, the jukebox crooning Springsteen. We leaked to Mia? Anonymously. Let the press do the dirty work. Jamie shifted, fear untouched. That's playing with fire, Addie. Elena's not evil. She's ambitious. Like us. Ambition doesn't justify murder. I snapped, the word slipping out before I could cage it. His eyes widened. I backpedaled, figurative. But she's killing our dream. He agreed, reluctantly, and by Monday, Mia's article dropped. Indie darling Apex Productions faces funding probe amid executive affair rumors. Twitter, X, whatever, exploded. Apex scandal trended, our inboxes flooded. Elena cornered me in the loft bathroom, tears streaking her makeup. This is you, isn't it? Sabotaging me because you're jealous? Victor and I. It's real, Addie. The baby's real. She clutched her still flat stomach, vulnerability cracking her armor. For a split second, pity flickered, memories of our Juilliard dorms, sharing secrets under fairy lights. But then, the alley, her voice on the phone to the thugs, cold as steel. Make it look like a mugging. Jealous. I laughed, low and bitter. You stole everything, Elena. The studio. My name. My life. The words hung, too close to truth. She recoiled, whispering, What are you talking about? I turned away, the high road crumbling. Silence followed, and in it, I saw her, truly. Not the friend, but the survivor who'd sacrifice anyone for her crown. The fallout accelerated. Investors pulled out. Victor ghosted, his lawyers circling. Elena spiraled, snapping at crew, drowning in denial. I played the rock, consoling publicly while privately feeding Mia more crumbs. Screenshots of the ledger, blurred for anonymity. Controversial? Absolutely. I was destroying lives. Jamie's career teetered on association. Mia risked lawsuits. But vengeance demanded sacrifice. Crescendo hit at our emergency board meeting, a sterile conference room in Midtown smelling of stale donuts and fear. Elena arrived disheveled, Victor's absence a gaping wound. "This is slander," she hissed at me across the table, our lawyers flanking like gladiators. "Addie's the one who's been unstable, pushing rewrites, alienating funders." The board, stuffy suits from LA, leaned in as I stood, voice steady. "Unstable? Or seeing clearly? We've got discrepancies. Funds unaccounted for." I slid the drive across, copies for all. Gasps rippled. Elena's eyes locked on mine, betrayal mirroring back, not hers, but mine. The twist I'd buried deep. In this life, I'd uncovered more. The crime wasn't just embezzlement, it was arson. Our first office fire, ruled accidental. Elena's doing, to claim insurance and erase early debts tied to my name. Victor's connections hushed it. She'd burned our past, literally, to build her future. "You bitch," she whispered, lunging. Security pulled her back as chaos erupted. But I wasn't done. As cops swarmed post-meeting, my anonymous tip to NYPD, I faced her in the hall, rain lashing the windows like judgment. She chose the high road. I murmured, echoing the tabloid spin on my first suicide, and the silence that followed revealed who they truly were. Her face crumpled, the fight draining. "Addie, please. The baby." The plea twisted the knife. In my first death, I died alone, no one mourning the thief. Now, justice, raw and unyielding. But as handcuffs clicked, a chill settled. Was I the hero, or the monster reborn? The alley flashed, my blood, her voice. No mercy. Weeks blurred into a haze of depositions and headlines. The kind that plaster your face on TMZ and make your morning bodega run a spectacle. Elena's arrest dominated the cycle. Co-founder of Rising Studio charged with fraud and arson, affair with tech mogul implodes empire. Victor Hale lawyered up, vanishing to his Napa vineyard like a bad sequel. Me, Adeline Harper, the whistleblower, fielded interview requests from podcasters hungry for the girl boss revenge arc. But glory tasted like ash. Nights, I'd wake sweating, the echo of gunshots. Wait, no, that alley scuffle, fists and boots, not bullets. Memory played tricks, blending timelines. Jamie stuck close. Our alliance forged in dive bar confidence is now a lifeline. "You did it, Addie," he'd say over late-night burgers at Shake Shack, his camera bag slung like armor. "Apex is yours. Clean slate." Clean? Hardly. The board had dissolved the partnership, awarding me sole control after the dust settled. But control meant bills, and our coffers were gutted. I hired a skeleton crew, loyalists like Jamie, and pitched shadows to every streaming exec from here to Burbank. Rejections piled up. Too dark. Too personal. They smelled blood, knew the scandal's shadow lingered. Elena's trial loomed like a storm front, set for September in Manhattan criminal court. I could have washed my hands, let the system grind her. High road, right? But vengeance whispered otherwise. Controversial urge, testify. Not as victim, but accuser. Relive the alley, expose the full rot. My therapist, new in this life, a no-nonsense black woman named Dr. Reese, warned against it. Closure isn't a courtroom win, Adeline. It's internal. Internal. As if rebirth allowed peace. I prepped anyway, combing old emails, voicemails. One gem, Elena's drunken ramble from 2 years back, post-Juilliard reunion. "Addie, you're the only one who gets it. This city's a beast, eats the weak. But us? We're apex predators." Laughter, slurred. Then, sober. "Just, don't ever cross me. I couldn't handle losing you." Irony, thy name is Elena. I burned a copy to disk, labeled Exhibit A. The baby complicated everything. Victor had bailed, but paternity suits buzzed. Elena's lawyer painted her as the jilted mother, me the heartless saboteur. Public opinion split. Free Elena trended among theater Twitter, decrying catty women tearing each other down. Justice for Addie countered, my supporters, mostly women I'd mentored, rallying with op-eds on betrayal in the arts. Tension crackled. Anonymous threats dinged my inbox. Snitches get stitches, Harper. Echoes of the alley. I upped security. A burly ex-cop named Marco shadowing my steps. Decision time hit during a sweltering August heatwave. Mia Chen called, voice electric. Off the record, Elena's offering a plea. Lesser charges if she flips on Victor. But she wants to meet you. Neutral ground. Meet? My gut recoiled. But the twist nagged. In my first life, she'd confessed fragments to a cellmate. Leaks that painted me as the arsonist posthumously. Bury that, or weaponize. Controversial, go. Name the place. The meet was a park bench in Prospect, under a canopy of sycamores shedding leaves like regrets. Elena arrived cuffed, flanked by marshals, her once vibrant curls limp, belly just starting to round under the orange jumpsuit. No makeup, no mask, just hollow eyes that search mine. Addie, my name, a plea. Sit, I said, voice flat. Marco loomed nearby, hand on holster. She did, chains clinking. You wanted this. Talk. Tears welled. I didn't mean for it to go that far. The fire? Insurance crunch. Victor pushed, said Apex needed a reboot. I thought you'd forgive, like always. Always. The words stung, dredging dorm confessions, her breakdowns over bad auditions I'd soothed. And the alley? That was him. Thugs to scare you into silence after the audit. I called it off. Liar. I knew the call logs, her voice, authorizing. But doubt slithered. Victor's ruthlessness, his bored emails I'd glimpsed, cold calculus. The baby, she pressed, hand on swell. It's a girl. Like us. Don't let her grow up fatherless and motherless because of your grudge. Grudge. Not revenge. The line blurred. I leaned in, whispering. She chose the high road, and the silence that followed revealed who they truly were. Her brow furrowed. What? A quote from my obit, twisted. You chose betrayal. I chose truth. She recoiled. You're different. Harder. What happened to you, Addie? Everything. Nothing. I stood, signal to Marco. Plea or not, the disc goes in. All of it. As they led her away, her sob cut deep. I loved you. Loved. Past tense. Back in Brooklyn, I shattered a wine glass against the wall, shards glittering like broken trust. Dr. Reese's words echoed, internal. But closure? It was a myth. The trial prep intensified. Prosecutors courted me as star witness. Jamie filmed a doc short on the scandal, behind the curtain, positioning me as Phoenix. Offers trickled, a book deal, podcast guest spots. Success, rebirth's cruel joke. Climax brewed on a crisp fall eve, pretrial motions in a courthouse cafe. Victor appeared, uninvited, silver fox in bespoke suit, aura of untouchability. Ms. Harper, he drawled, Boston accent clipping vowels. A word, arrogance incarnate. We stepped outside, rain misting the air, yellow cabs honking symphony. You destroyed her, he said, no preamble. My child, eyes like slate, appraising. Your child. I countered, rain beating on my coat. She destroyed me first. Arson, fraud, assault. The words tumbled, accusations honed. He chuckled low. Business, darling. Elena was expendable. But you? Talented. Join me. We rebuild Apex, my way. Bribe, veiled threat. The secret he'd buried. Not just funding, but grooming. In my first life, post-death, he'd absorbed our IP, twisting shadows into a sanitized rom-com. Now, the offer dangled. Power, if I betrayed my vengeance. Controversial fork. Accept, play long game, dismantle from within? Or reject, risk escalation? Heart hammered. Join the man who greenlit my beating? Pass. His smile thinned. Careful, Adeline. High roads lead to cliffs. He vanished into the night, but the seed planted doubt. Was Elena the pawn, Victor the king? My PI dug deeper. Text from her phone, pleading with him. Don't hurt her. She's family. Fractured loyalty. The twist uncoiled. She tried to stop the alley attack. Too late. Misdirection or absolution. Trial day dawned gray. Federal courthouse, a fortress of marble and metal detectors. I testified in a Navy suit, voice steady as I unpacked the ledger, the fire reports, the voicemails. Elena watched from the dock, gaze pleading. Jurors shifted, sympathy for the pregnant defendant warred with evidence. Victor's turn came. Cross-exam, his denial slick as oil. But I had the ace. A recorded call, Elena to him post-fire. It's done. Addie's none the wiser. Played in open court, her gasp echoed. Closing arguments peaked with drama. Her lawyer. A woman's ambition, twisted by a man's shadow. Mine, prosecutor's echo, betrayal's cost. Verdict, guilty on fraud and arson. 5 years, suspended sentence pending maternity. Victor walked, deferred to civil. Bittersweet. Outside, press swarmed. Elena, in cuffs, mouthed sorry through tears. I nodded once. Vengeance sated? Partially. But as I slipped into a cab, phone buzzing with a Netflix offer for Shadows. Untouched, mine, the weight lifted. Rebirth's gift, not just payback, but rebirth true. Months post-verdict, New York winter bit like regret. Icy winds off the Hudson whipping through my Tribeca loft, the upgrade courtesy of Apex's rebound. Shadows of Ambition greenlit by A24, my directorial debut, casting calls buzzing with fresh faces untainted by scandal. Jamie Helm DP, our shorthand banter a bomb. You're glowing, Addie, he'd quipped during table reads, dodging my playful swat. Glowing. Reborn, perhaps. But scars itched, phantom pains from the alley bleeding into dreams. Elena's release came mid-shoot, house arrest in her mother's Queens Row house. Ankle monitor chafing her ankle like Karma's bracelet. The baby, Isabella, arrived in February, photos leaked by tabloids, tiny fist curled, Elena's eyes staring defiantly from the hospital bed. Public ate it up, Mama Elena trended, petitions for pardon circulating. Forgiveness porn, American as apple pie. Me? I scrolled past, focusing on dailies, the set a cocoon of controlled chaos. But Victor lurked. Whispers from LA contacts. He was shopping a competing project, Eclipse of Trust, a fictionalized take on our saga. Elena as tragic anti-hero, me the jealous villain. IP theft, thinly veiled. My lawyer sued, but Valley money bought delays. Tension simmered. Anonymous emails arrived. Cliffs await. Echoes of his warning. Controversial impulse. Counterstrike. Leak his dirty laundry. Offshore havens. Harassment suits buried under NDAs. Dr. Reese urged restraint. Vengeance cycles, Adeline. Break it. Break it. Easier preached. Shoot wrapped in April. Premiere whispers building. Elena reached out via her publicist. Coffee? For Isabella's sake. Motive? Absolution or trap? I agreed. Neutral. Public. Marco Intel. The spot. A quiet cafe in the village. Spring blooms mocking the frost between us. She arrived bundled in a Burberry coat. No cuffs now, but shadows under eyes. Isabella cooed in a carrier, dark curls tufting. She's beautiful, I said, meaning it. Elena's smile trembled. Wants to meet her auntie. Auntie. The word gutted. We talked surface, weather, shadows buzz. Then, depths. I never wanted this, Addie. Victor. He consumed me. The fire was stupid, desperate. The alley. I called, begged him to stop. Too late. Tears spilled. Evidence warred with empathy. Voicemails I'd dismissed as damage control. Why confess now? Prison therapy, she admitted. Made me see. I betrayed us both. You were the real partner. Pause, heavy. Forgive? Or at least, understand. Understand. The twist I'd half suspected crystallized. Her betrayal, a mirror of my own buried flaw. In Juilliard, I'd sabotaged a rival's audition, slipped a bad line into her script. Petty, forgotten, until rebirth dredged it. We'd both clawed, wounded. She chose the high road. I murmured, and the silence revealed. She finished, who we truly were. Monsters in heels. Laughter, cathartic. Not absolution. Too raw, but truce. I held Isabella, her warmth a bridge. Auntie Addie, Elena whispered. Help me rebuild. Not Apex. Something new. Tempting. But vengeance's echo. Trust fractured irreparably. Maybe. For her. We parted tentative, seeds planted. Premiere night. Lincoln Center, red carpet, a gauntlet of flashes and fawning. Shadows unspooled to gasps. Our story, raw, betrayal's knife twist by twist. Standing ovation. Critics raved. Harper's directorial triumph. A searing indictment of ambition's cost. Post-party, champagne flowing. Victor cornered me in an alcove. Tucks crisp, smile serpentine. Brava. But Eclipse drops next month. Box office bloodbath. Threat. Naked. My blood boiled. Cliffs indeed. Controversial endgame. Expose. I'd held back his full ledger, procured via Jamie's hacker buddy. Publish. Jamie had asked, ethical qualms creasing his brow. Now yes. As Victor leaned in, we could collaborate. I pulled my phone, hit send. Tamia, full dossier, timed embargo lift. Collaborate with ghosts, Vic. His face ashen. You wouldn't. Watch me. I walked away, heart thundering, to Elena's text. Premiere? Bring wine. Impromptu, her brownstone. We watched bootleg clips, Isabella asleep between us, laughing at our younger selves on screen. You nailed the betrayal scene, she said, no bitterness. Silence fell, companionable. What now, she asked. High road, I replied, but with detours. Her nod, understanding. Twist's final turn. Dawn brought headlines. Not just Victor's downfall, arrest for tax evasion, suits crumbling, but a letter from Elena's cellmate. First life echo. She confessed everything. Saved your rep posthumously. Absolution delayed. I hadn't died alone. She'd mourned, anonymously funding my memorial fund. Tragic? No, poignant. Vengeance yielded not victory, but reflection. Adeline Harper, twice born, chose grace amid ruins. The city hummed outside, endless scripts unwritten. And in the quiet, we rebuilt. Not empires, but bonds. Fractured, fierce, forever.